It's actually it's a totally not a horrible mistake. Yeah, it could create bugs, that's right. The reason that this is not a mistake is because often what you want to do is pass a list to a function, then you want the function to do something magical to that list, such as adding a bunch of elements to it, and then you want to go back to the main loop. And you want the list that you added stuff to still have those elements that you added into it. And that's why when you make a new name point to the list, it doesn't create a copy of the list. It gives you the old list, and that list now just has multiple names. It's a wonderful thing. A whole lot of things would go wrong in Python if it wasn't like that. But there is potential for messed upage. And that's why you need to be careful with your variable names. Yep.
So you established an analogy between the way strings are substrings, like L and hello,
Yeah.
are referred to, and the members of a list.
Yeah.
So if you use that notation, does it create a new shorter list?
Yes, exactly. Okay, so fish 0 to 2 should give us the sublist, which consists of the first and the second element of fish. Green and 2. And we use the exact same syntax, indexing syntax that we use for strings.
So when you have the like 0 to 2, that means up until 2 is beyond.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did something earlier that confused me when I see it.
Yeah, it's totally confusing. Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, but it's still confusing. It makes perfect sense from the needs and the demands of what you're doing when you're indexing things. So it means give me everything up to the one that is number 2 in computer indexing, which we can think of as give me all of the ones up till the second element, including the second element. So it makes sense when you think about the alternation between human numbering and computer numbering.
There's this nice thing in the help file where they take lists and put vertical lines between the members of the list, and then they number the lines. So if you're using this thing with the colon,
Yeah.
like if you ever think you have a line that's 0 and you have a thing here and a line that's 1. So 0:2 takes everything between the 0 line and the 2 line.
Yeah.
Which would be one way of making it intuitive.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, so as to Bruce's question, does it create a new list when we subscript? In a certain sense, the answer has to be yes. Okay, let's just verify that it is. Okay, so let's make a new sublist. Y equals fish 0 sub 2. Sorry, x equals fish from 0 up to 2. Okay, so that should be the same thing that we created before. That's right. And now let's change the first element of x. Okay, verify. We have changed the first element of x. And now we look back at fish, and we did not change the first element of fish when we changed the first element of x. So when you subscript a list, you create a new list, at least temporarily. But when you pass just a direct copy of a list, you normally don't create a new copy of the list. It's very unlikely to lead to bugs. I personally have never created a bug this way in Python. I created bugs all the time when I used to program in C because of this type of ambiguity. But I've never had a problem with it in Python, not even once. So just good Python style will prevent you from making bugs, so don't worry about it too much.
Would we ever need to find a particular substring within a list? So fish sub 3, the letter E?
So fish.index, string red, says, please look through fish and give me the index of the first element that is red.
But that doesn't really do what Robin wants. Robin wants to see, can you find E
Yeah,
And
how
in
would
red-
you find
in
the
red.
letter E inside red?
from fish?
Oh.
Or
Oh.
would
Wait,
we,
well,
would we
inside of
never
which
ever
element?
need to do that?
Inside of which
Inside
element?
of red,
Okay.
or blue, I don't care.
Well,
Inside of
the
some
first thing that
element.
you need to do is figure out which element you're going to look at. Do you want to find the first E that is in fish?
No, I want to find the E that is in red.
Okay. I don't know if we can do that.
Okay, then it must be a stupid
Here's how- no,
operation.
here's how you-
I just wasn't sure if it
here's
was
how you
something we
would do
had
it.
to use.
I can tell you how you do it. You do square brackets.
There we go.
Oh, that was.
Yeah. Totally parallel.
Sorry, let's see.
Yeah. It says string, so I put in string as red. That's the literal string. Then I said dot index and then find E. So that means give me the first index for which the value of this string is E. Yeah, it's not a stupid question at all. Okay. So you might be now confused. Why am I allowed to run a function as a subpart of a string? And that is because Python is an object-oriented language. So everything in Python is an object, even strings. So people from C, for example, might be confused by this because in C there's atomic data types and then you have functions. And functions operate on data types, but fundamental atomic data types don't have functions themselves. And that's not how objects work. The concept behind object-oriented programming is things not only have data, but they also sometimes do things. So red is a string, and by inherent virtue of being a string, it has certain functions that are associated with it. So one of them is, you can ask it, please find me the first instance of blah. Any sequence data type, that means lists and strings, and there might be some other ones that we haven't talked about yet, have an index function. That index function means, please give me an argument, I will go find the first sub-element of me that matches that argument, and I will give you back the index in me. So the index is called a member function of the string object. So each particular string is able to call index as a subpart of itself. You're like saying, hey, over there, string red, please tell me where is the first E that occurs in you. And that's exactly the same thing that's going on when you say, hey, over there, fish list, please tell me the index of the first element that is the string red. So it's completely parallel, completely analogous syntax. Even though the data structures are quite different, the thing that you are doing conceptually is the same. And so the syntax is the same for doing those things.